nerds, what's up? Today we are going to talk about book series that I personally feel peaked at book one. Now, very specifically, when I say peaked at book one, it has to be a series where I really enjoyed book one and actually didn't really enjoy the rest of the series. If it's a series that I completely enjoyed but book one was my favorite, it wouldn't make the cut. It has to be one where book one was amazing and everything else kind of felt like a letdown afterwards. We'll talk about my list and what you guys thought on my Instagram after the jump. The first one I immediately thought of was the Wool trilogy by Hugh, Howey. I read this book a while ago and I actually really enjoyed it. I thought the first book was really interesting, had some interesting character perspectives, an interesting world. It was really engaging. And then I read the second book and it was horrible. At least to me it was. It repeated so much of the same world building, the same story beats. One of the main characters was a lot of telling and not showing and was just completely unbelievable to me, and I did not understand that storyline at all. The second book was such a letdown. In fact, I never even read the third one. I simply looked up what happened, and I remember thinking, I'm so glad I didn't read the third one. It was not worth what clearly happened. So this one I was pretty disappointed about. From what I know, Wool was written in an episodic format online and then was encouraged to get it published and got it picked up. Now, I think because of that episodic nature, things like repetitiveness maybe don't feel as noticeable when you're getting installments and it's kind of a web thing. And so I think when it turned into a series, you could kind of tell that maybe he didn't always have a plan for it. The next one I thought of was A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. Now, I love this first book so much. And in fact, this actually has one of my favorite world building pieces ever, which is the 4 Londons: gray, red, white, and black. Like, I love that so much. I was really taken in by this book and then was completely disappointed by the other two. The second book has a plot device in it that is completely divorced from the main storyline that I was the most interested in. And then the third one kind of went on for too long on things that I don't think really mattered and didn't really solve a lot of things I wanted to see. And so even though it was fine, I have a hard time recommending the whole series to people because I don't really feel like book 2 and 3 delivered for me. Okay, so when I wrote this one, I thought it might be controversial, but after polling my Instagram users, a lot of people agreed with me, so I'm a little less afraid to say this one, but that's The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin, a part of the Broken Earth trilogy. Now, I absolutely love The Fifth Season. I was blown away by this book. I love N.K. Jemisin's writing. I loved her characters and particularly how the 3 main female characters in this one come together in the end. Loved it. I also think she does an amazing job at writing representation in an authentic way. There was just so much to like about The Fifth Season. Now, while some of those things remain true, she's still a good writer. She still had authentic representation. Books 2 and 3 just didn't capture me like the first one. There were good parts of them, but ultimately I left feeling unsatisfied at the end of the trilogy. I still felt a little bit confused by parts of the story, and it just didn't come together for me in the way that I was so obsessed with the 5th season. And so that'll always be a little disappointing to me. Okay, this next one, can I say it or not? We'll find out what you guys think. That would be The Kingkiller Chronicles by Patrick Rothfuss, with it peaking at The Name of the Wind. Now, the third one isn't out yet. Will we see the third one? Maybe there's a new date for it, and maybe I will have to revoke this statement. But as it stands for the last decade, I vastly preferred The Name of the Wind to A Wise Man's Fear. The first part of A Wise Man's Fear I liked. The last half really lost me. I had a lot of problems with some of the storylines. I think we all know which ones those are. And it was such a letdown because obviously Patrick Rothfuss's prose is so amazing. I actually quite liked the character of Quoth in this first novel, had more problems in the second one, and ultimately I worried it didn't really deliver on its promises. Some tweets that Patrick Rothfuss made a long time ago about asking like, which stuff do you want wrapped up in the third novel, also make me worried for a third if it does ever come, as if he really didn't have a plan for how to make everything come together. So as for now, I still appreciate The Name of the Wind. It is a peaked series for me, but I hope to be proven wrong. So what did you guys think? I pulled my Instagram out of curiosity to see what you guys would say peaked at book 1. Now there were a ton of hot takes in there, but I'm only gonna talk about the ones that got the most traction. First, like I said before, I was surprised by how many people put the Broken Earth trilogy. It made me feel better to know I'm not alone, that the 5th season was for the most part most of our favorites of the Broken Earth trilogy. I also got a fair amount of Kingkiller Chronicles too, so apparently I'm not alone and just giving up on that right now. The other two most popular responses by far in the adult fantasy fantasy space were Ender's Game and the Greenbone Saga. I'm actually surprised by both of those. Although Ender's Game is probably my favorite of the three I've read, I quite enjoyed Ender's Shadow, and I also really enjoyed Speaker for the Dead, so I would not say that that peaked for me at book one. And as far as the Greenbone Saga, I am currently in the middle of Jade Legacy, so I guess I can't really speak for it, but I liked Jade City and Jade War equally. They were both just as good to me, so I'll be interested to see what Legacy does on my opinion on that. Now again, I was focusing on adult fantasy in this video, but two answers that got put to me frequently were the Hunger Games and the Divergent trilogies. Now, I will say the first Hunger Games is probably my favorite book. Like, I love the first Hunger Games, but I enjoyed the entire series, so it's just not enough for me to say it peaked at book one because I personally like the whole series. I know a lot of people have problems with the repetitiveness of book two and the ultimate what happened in book three, but I like it. Divergent series, on the other hand, hard agree. The first one's definitely the best. The second and third one are just not good, in my opinion, just at all. Let me know in the comments what your hot take or not so hot take is on which series peaked at book one. I think you can do incomplete series too, because I did that with the Kingkillers Chronicles. We may be proven wrong later, but you can still put your hot takes below. And if you like these kind of videos, please like and subscribe. And if you want to see other nerdy rants or see what I'm currently reading, like what I feel about the new Star Wars shows, you can check me out on Instagram at bookborn.reviews. I'll see you next time. Bye.